can see my screen. So I'm sharing you the vital notification issued by Dean Academic on 24 October, and you must know that your class starts from today, and your practical classes will be started from how practical class will start using offline mode from November 15. It doesn't mean that your practical class won't start from today. It will start from today, but online mode. And if everything goes well, after next 15 days, we'll start from offline mode, and you all will be invited to come to campus, stay in the hostel, maintaining COVID guidelines and separate notification. I don't know whether this notification has already been issued by our chief warden, but it will be issued. If not,
Sir,
it will be
it has
issued.
been issued.
Oh, it has been issued. That's good. So you take your preparation, and I hope you have taken 2 doses of any of the prescribed COVID vaccine. So it's a kind of transition period, you can say. Some of the classes will still be delivered from online, whereas rest of the classes, especially the practical classes, the spirit of the practical classes, the learning outcome, etc., cannot be fully met when you deliver it in an online form. So you have to be very agile, very adaptive. For some class you want to attend from your home, some online classes, tutorial, etc. Whereas if I attend in the class, I don't know what will be the modes. You have to immediately come to institute to attend the offline practical class. So let me see your syllabus first, your course coverage and lecture plan. And don't worry, you need not write anything. Screen recording is there, and the recording will be available to you on MS Teams as soon as the class is over. And this recording will be available for 15 or 20 days. You just see the MS Teams policy. I think it will be available for next 20 days. If you can download it and keep it in a folder, so you can refer this recording. And whatever documents I am showing it to you, all these documents will be available. I'll make all these documents available on this group. So don't worry. By this afternoon, I'll be able to upload all the relevant documents, syllabus, etc. So you need not really note down anything. Everything will be available to you. So there is no hide and seek game. So fluid mechanics 1. So you will study 2 fluid mechanics courses. One is in 3rd semester, another is in 4th semester as a fluid mechanics 2. In fluid mechanics 1, basic principles of fluid mechanics will be studied, and in fluid mechanics 2, the application of fluid mechanics like pumps, turbines, hydraulic channels, open channel flow, hydraulic jumps, etc. That will be covered. So there are a total of 4 credits, and 3 lectures will be there, followed by 1 practical. So I would also like to share timetable so that there should not be any discrepancy. This is our departmental timetable. So let me match with the timetable available with you. Like this is my timetable. You see, the lecture class. Lecture class is for all batches C1, C2, C3. So first lecture class of the week is on Monday, scheduled from 12 to 1. Second lecture class is on the Tuesday, from 10 to 11, and third lecture class will be on Friday from 12 to 1, and there will be tutorial classes. Okay, there will be tutorial classes. These tutorial classes will be taken by Dr. Tanmay Mandal, assistant professor of our department. You just check, and if there is any discrepancy, please let me know, because the timetable of the teacher should be matched with that of the student. So your tutorial, FM1 tutorial for the week will start from Monday 3 to 4 for C3 batch. So today from 3 to 4, C3 batch will attend FM1 tutorial to be taken by Dr. Mandal, and FM tutorial for C2 batch will be held on Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m. and from Wednesday, FM1 tutorial for C1 batch will be held between 3 and 4 p.m. So it is good that to do some numerical problems after the lunch, because after the lunch session, if you hear the lecture, so probably you cannot stop yourself from sleep. So it's good that if you do some numericals by your own, so timetable is quite balanced. And if you see your practical, the practical is of 3 hours, and practical will bear a different code. So if you see the code of theory subject FM1, so it will be AM, there is no spacing, AM 13101. So the first digit is for BTech. 3 denotes the semester, and 101 your particular course code. So AM 1301 is your FM1 code, and FM1 practical will be a different code. So that is AM 13201. Any practical code starts with 200. Okay. Similarly, any theory code will start with 100. So this is the difference. Just by seeing the code, you can identify whether it is a BTech course, MTech course, whether it is your PhD course, whether it is in a second semester, third semester, practical, theory. And there are 3 practical, each of 3 hours. So C1 group, you have already done, completed your first practical, and there are some initial hiccup. But it is good that you have finally joined. If not from 9, then at least from 10, around 10. So you have, as for C1 group, your practical will start from 9 to 12 on Monday, and for C2 group, your practical will start on 2 o'clock on Thursday, and both these practical for C1 and C2 will be taken by Dr. Mandal, whereas I will take a practical class for C3 on Thursday. On Thursday from 9 to 12. Let me check from. Yes, from 9 to 12. So we'll soon meet in person. As soon as our institute will be open for third semester, around 15th of November. And I came to know this 15th of November date is proposed in such a way that all the festive activities in North India, like Diwali, and after Diwali, Chhat Puja will be there. And you know, there would be rush in getting the reservations in train and planes. So if the institute would be opened after the festive activities, then probably it will be easier for you to get the reservation. So I think there is no problem with no discrepancy with the timetable. Now come to the course coverage, and then we will discuss about the lecture plan. So as I told you, this course is for 4 credit, 3 hours lecture, 1 hour tutorial for each group, and mid-semester examination will bear 20 marks. Since we have been in the online mode, there was no formal mid-semester examination. Instead, 5 online quizzes are proposed. So I think the same mode will also be continued. 5 online quizzes, and I usually take quiz for 10 marks, 20 marks, sometimes for 30 marks. It will be finally reduced to 20 marks. So don't worry. I will notify you, like as soon as I complete first 2 chapters, I will propose a quiz date, and that quiz will be of MCQ. There will be no a negative marking, and that quiz will be held online through MS Teams. But you have to attempt the answer by 1 click. So you will not get any second chance to correct your answer. And that thing I adopted just to avoid the, you see, the copy from each other. So the digital copying from each other. So this is about a mid-semester examination. Then end semester examinations. So in the last 1.5 years, we have experienced different types of end semester examinations. So there is a chance that your end semester examination would be held offline. We don't know what will happen after 3 months when your course will be ended. There is a chance that your end semester examination would be held online, and the mode of examination will be in terms of written examination and followed by viva. So necessary instruction will be notified by Dean Academic Office, and the weightage for end semester examination is of 60 marks, and rest of the 20 marks will be for teachers assessment. So for teachers assessment, 5 marks is kept for attendance, and it will be given on based on your attendance record. 5 marks will be for teacher's appraisal, so the teacher can conduct some surprise test. Teacher can give you some quick assignment, and this assignment may be solved in a class, and you have to submit the assignment by scanning your copy. So I will devise the methodology to give award you 5 marks, and 10 marks will be for home assignment. So our Dean Academic Office suggests that home assignments would be as high as 10. So for home assignment is concerned, it will be clubbed with tutorial, because there is no separate marks for tutorial. So this 5 marks for teacher's appraisal and 10 marks for home assignment, these are dedicated to tutorial activities. So your tutorial teacher, Dr. Tanmay Mandal, in consultation with me, will devise ways to evaluate these 15 marks, and you will be definitely given some assignment sheets based on whatever I will cover in your class. Like as soon as I complete past 2 chapters, so you will be received one tutorial, say consist of 8 to 10 questions. And some of these questions will be solved in your tutorial class, whereas the rest of the questions, mostly numerical questions, will be solved by you at your place. Then scan the copy, your SIH book, and submit it to MS Teams. Timely submission is expected. You cannot ensure full marks if you don't submit it timely. So you remember to maintain the deadline. So these are the assessment method and assessment strategies. Then course outcome. Any course when proposed is based on some outcomes. So here you just quickly go through the course outcome. First is to identify and find out the values of fluid properties and the relationship between them. Understand the fundamental laws, principles, based on which fluid mechanics, the subject fluid mechanics is developed over the years. And then use these laws and principles and formulate the mathematical equation. So derivations will obviously be there, because derivation will gives you an insight. Yeah, many a time student ask, sir, why should I do derivation if the derivation is not asked in examination? Remember that derivation will give you an insight. So once you see how the formulation is being derived, so you can see how nicely the physics is integrated with mathematics. And this is the duty of the engineer. A mathematician may or may not do, right? But as an engineer, you have to integrate a physics with mathematics. That is very important. Then third one is you will learn to apply dimension analysis in various practical problems of fluid mechanics, ranging from turbomachineries to some water-related problem, naval problems, etc. This is a new thing, and this dimensional analysis will also be utilized when you study FM2 in next semester. And fourth one is very much related with the practical class, that is like lab. The necessary theory required for the lab class will be covered in this theory course, like various measurement techniques to measure various flow parameters like pressure, velocity, discharge of flow rate. The fundamentals behind these measurement techniques will be discussed. But thing is that in theory class we will follow as per our lecture plan, and in your lab there will be a schedule of practical class. So many a times you will find the theories are not covered in theory class, whereas the practical is there based on the theory which is not yet covered in the theory class. So I request you to please ask the lab teacher for the relevant theory, or you please become a little proactive to learn those theories from ebooks, from internet, so that you cannot feel you say the dull, or you cannot feel isolated while doing the experiments in lab. Now the modes of delivery, as I told you, the modes of delivery for tutorial and your lecture will be based on online mode. We'll use MS Teams. I will share all the PDFs. The PDFs, whatever PPT I will show you, I will make it into PDF and send it to you. I usually avoid showing the video clips because many a times you see we are not using same bandwidth of internet connections. Many a times my internet connection is also suffering. So I have experienced that while showing the video clip, my voice lags sometimes. Sometimes your video lags. So Arman Jain, you have any difficulty? Arman, you have raised your hand.
हाँ सर, मेरे को ये पूछना था कि जो असाइनमेंट्स है सर वो MS Teams पे अपलोड करने पड़ेंगे कि कॉलेज खुल जाएंगे तो हैंड सर मतलब आपको देना होंगे?
MS Teams.
Okay sir.
You see, these are all final details. Okay. Initially, we will conduct the online lecture and tutorial online. Then, according to the situation and the guidelines given by the head and dean academic, we will update you. Okay, these are all finer details. At least for the next 4-5 class, you will not be given tutorials. So don't worry. First, you learn some theory, get accustomed with how to solve the mathematical problems on fluid mechanics. Then probably picture will be clear to you. Thank you for your query. So what I will do, I will give you the links, say YouTube links or any website links where the video is available, and I will ask you to please see the video. So materials, etc., everything will be available to you. And so far the copyright issue is concerned, I am not be able to send you the e-books. Many of the e-books you will get from internet, but few of the e-books are available with me as well. But I cannot send you or upload you the e-book in MS Teams because of the copyright issue. So I request you to please, who is your class representatives here?
Sir, we have 6 groups and 6 CRs. You can share any. Yes, you can share the file with any of them, and we'll circulate it.
No. So my suggestion is, to all the CRs, I hope the CRs are listening. Out of the 6 years, at least one CR should take an initiative to form a WhatsApp group exclusively for FM1 lecture. Remember, a WhatsApp group which will be formed exclusively for FM1 lecture. So in this group, there will be only one teacher, myself, and all will be the students from BTech Civil 3rd semester. There won't be even tutorial teacher. If tutorial teacher or practical teacher wishes to form separate group, they can form. Okay. So can you do it in the next 24 hours?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
In the email sent to you, I have also sent my phone number, mobile number, and that is also my WhatsApp number. So in this WhatsApp group, I can post the ebook. So that is one thing. And next is that WhatsApp group is formed to discuss the common problems related to fluid mechanics. So many a times you have a query, but your friend know the answer. Many a times you have a doubt and your friend has already solved it. So your friend knows the answer. So once you post it, I will also see it as teacher, but your friends will also see it. So those who will have answer, so they will just post it. Another thing is instruction. Like while taking the quiz test, many a times you see the student has a confusion. So the student can directly post this confusion. The student can directly post this confusion. He will not post the answer. He will post the confusion. You say, I am not getting the quiz link, so I can help you. Or any of the students who knows how to get the quiz link, he will immediately tell you. So this is a kind of kind of, you can say, help group for fluid mechanics. You please create a WhatsApp group exclusively for fluid mechanics 1 lecture. So you just name the group as FM1 lecture, and you make all the students as admin. And please remember that if you have any interesting phenomena related to fluid mechanics, anything related to fluid mechanics, you can share. So that will definitely broaden our knowledge base. But don't share anything apart from fluid mechanics. don't share any joke, meme, political post, etc. Okay. So please maintain the sanctity of this group. This WhatsApp group will be formed to enhance our online learning experience, not for mere chit chat. I hope all the 6 years have understood. Now, once year will take the initiative and do it in the next 24 hours. Now you see the syllabus. Your syllabus is divided into few units. A total of 6 units are there. But your syllabus for fluid mechanics is really long. So you have to use each and every time. So don't leave, don't bunk the class. It is my request. 40 hours are required. The minimum 40 hours are required. At the end, I may need to take some extra classes. So don't bunk the class. You will get leave as per our college academic calendar, but don't bunk the class. So this is very a bad habit, I can say, and it's a kind of insult to the teacher. A teacher will appear on a scheduled date and time, and he will not be there. So it is not a good practice. So in the first unit, so we'll discuss about the introduction of fluid mechanics. So for the next 2 days or 2 to 3 days, so next 1 week, we'll discuss about the different fluid mechanics, the concept of continuum, different properties of fluid, and the effect of these properties on fluid, different types of fluid flow, rheology, Newton's law of viscosity, etc., and how it varies with different fluids. So that portion we'll discuss in first unit. Then in second unit, 2 chapters are there. One is fluid statics and another is fluid kinematics. So both are clubbed as second unit. In second unit, we will start with the pressure density height relationship. You know, as you increase the altitude, your pressure and density will change, and obviously your temperature. So we'll start with Pascal's law of hydrostatics, then the basic way to measure pressure, that is a manometer called manometry. Then sophisticated pressure measuring devices like pressure transducer. Then how to measure, calculate pressure on a flat plane, kept on horizontal, vertical, at an angle, and curved plane. Then how to locate the center of pressure, buoyancy. Some of them you have already studied at your +2 level. So based on our mutual consent, we will say, okay, this thing you please study, and 2 tutorial problems solved on this, and things will go over. Then stability of immersed and floating bodies, and fluid masses subject to linear acceleration and uniform rotation. You see, there is a cup of liquid, and if you allow the liquid kept in a cup to slide along an inclined plane, so what will be happen with the fluid? Some acceleration will occur in the fluid, some acceleration. How to measure this acceleration? If you have a jar filled with fluid, and if you rotate the jar about its axis, then what will happen? What are the forces acting on this? So these things will also discuss and derive. Then kinematics of fluid flow. From engineering mechanics, you know that kinematics deals with the movement of the object, without considering the forces acting on it. So like whether the flow is curvilinear, rectilinear, rotational, irrotational. So these things will be discussed. Whether the flow varies with time, whether the flow is constant with time, known as steady flow. Then various flow visualization techniques like streamline, straight line, path line, each has definitions and each are distinct. You can say each of these lines is distinct from each other, but they are coinciding on each other on a particular condition. Then we will see the continuity equation. Continuity equation is known as mass balance equation. Continuity equation is the name used in fluid mechanics, but in physics it is known as mass balance equation. The fast conservation equation we'll see and derive it for fluid mechanics from fluid mechanics point of view. Then stream function and velocity potential is a very basic thing related to uh, potential fluid flow. Then concept of circulation and different applications of potential flow. So this chapter is quite a big, and at least 2 weeks are required. 2 weeks are required to cover this. Then third chapter, dynamics of fluid flow and dynamic dimension analysis. So in unit 3, will consider the forces acting on the fluid. So we'll start with Euler equation, and Euler equation has a distinction. Like, you know, two important parameters in fluid are pressure and velocity. And Euler equation is the first equation which connects these two important terms, pressure and velocity. So if you know one value, say pressure, you can calculate what is the velocity, or vice versa. Then from Euler equation we'll derive Bernoulli's equation. So there are other ways to derive Bernoulli's equation, like from first principle. We will also see it.
Excuse me, sir.
Abhishek.
What was the name of that equation you said earlier, the first one before Bernoulli?
Euler equation. EULER, the spelling is Euler. This equation is was derived by Leonhard Euler. Yes. It is written as EULER, but its pronunciation is Euler. OILER. Okay. Then we'll see the second conservation equation, that is conservation of momentum or momentum equation, and how it is applicable in practical problems of fluid mechanics. The pipelines, the domestic pipeline, you can apply the momentum equation. So we'll take up a case study. Then dynamic dimension analysis, as I told you, this dimension analysis, Buckingham's pi theorem, important dimensionless number, like you have here Reynolds number, Mach number, all these numbers will study. Froude number, you see Froude number is very popular among the civil engineering students. Probably half of your life will be spent with Froude number. So all these numbers will study their physical significance, the geometric, kinematic, and dynamic similarities, model studies. You know, many a times, even in your Adulis lab, you will see here 1:1 prototype we don't study because of its very large size. Whatever you study is a model. So what is the significance of this model study is Hadley's molecule. So this chapter is, I don't consider it as a chapter unit, rather I consider it as a tool. So if you know this tool, so it will give you lifetime dividend. Let me give you 1 minute and I will come back. Welcome back. If there is any problem with audio, please let me know. Then unit 4, and this is the, you can see the largest unit in your syllabus. So we'll discuss about laminar and turbulent flow. And this laminar and turbulent flow, these are the two popular and most frequently used terms in fluid mechanics. Lot of interesting physics are involved. So how a flow which is laminar would eventually become turbulent. So there is a shortage of time, so we cannot extend those interesting discussions, but I will share you different materials, and those who are interested, so they can read it. So a lot of supplementary materials also will be shared to you. There are two types of studies: stick to the syllabus. As a teacher, I have a responsibility to complete the syllabus by sticking to it. But as a learner of fluid mechanics, as an admirer of fluid mechanics, sometimes I would be lost in the fascinating phenomena of fluid mechanics. So I should restrict myself, and instead I would give you some supplementary materials and tell you, if you want to read more about laminar and turbulent flow, please read these 10 pages. So don't ask me whether this will be given in an examination or not, because you see, whatever I am showing you here in the syllabus, only that will be given in your examination. Okay, so the purpose of examination is not to torment the student, but to evaluate the magnitude of learning you have done. So we'll start with laminar flow. The laminar flow in a pipe. So Hagen-Poiseuille equation. With Hagen-Poiseuille equation we'll start. Then Stokes law for a very low speed flow. Later we'll call it a low Reynolds number flow. Then as you increase the speed of flow, later we'll call it as you increase the Reynolds number, your laminar flow would be increased to will be transferred or converted from laminar to turbulent, and in between there is a short regime known as transition flow. The physics of turbulent and transition flows are not completely known. So whatever knowledge we have, we'll share it. Then different types of turbulent flows, isotropic and homogeneous turbulence, scale and intensity of turbulence. Many of you don't know, if you create small missing like, to restrict mosquito to enter into your room, you put mosquito net, or the net similar to mosquito net available in the market on the windows and doors of your room. Okay, so you can now identify the degree of fineness of the mesh I'm talking about. If you have this type of 4, 5, 6 meshes kept at a regular interval and allow the fluid to pass through it, you will eventually get isotropic turbulence. So we'll discuss about how to create isotropic turbulence, what is the purpose of it, the scale of intensity of turbulence, same fluid flow having say 5 meter per second velocity, but two fluid flow having same velocity may have different degree of turbulence. One is having less turbulent intensity, other is having higher turbulence intensity. then eddy viscosity. Because of this turbulence, a additional viscous force is created that is different from your viscosity in laminar flow. So that is known as eddy viscosity or turbulent viscosity. And the magnitude of eddy viscosity is quite large, at least 500 to 1000 times large than the Newtonian viscosity. What is the implication of it, we'll know. Then some physics of turbulence. It starts with Prandtl mixing length theory. It was developed by Ludwig Prandtl. One of the notable fluid mechanist in 20th century. Then we'll see how the turbulent flow behaves over a smooth and rough surface. So this smooth and rough, these are all, you see, qualitative. We'll learn in this chapter that a surface can be sometimes smooth, or a surface, the same surface can be sometimes considered as rough. It depends on the type of flow. So a surface which is considered as a smooth for a particular flow instance cannot be considered as a smooth always. It can be rough as well. So therefore a concept is derived in fluid mechanics which is known as hydrologically smooth and hydrologically rough surface. Hydrologically smooth and rough surface. So we'll learn those concepts as well. Then when the fluid is flowing through a pipe, lot of resistance would occur, and that resistance will try to resist the flow to move forward. The resistance may be because of the internal surface roughness. The resistance may be due to the different valves, bends, different attachment connected with the pipe. So we'll calculate all those resistance of the flow, and what is the what if the resistance to the flow persists for long. So it will be reflected as a loss. So these losses are divided into two, minor losses and major losses. Then we'll use the concept of parallel electrical network and series electrical network. Have you studied electrical technology in first year? Please confirm any subject to electrical.
No, sir. No, sir.
So
Sir,
in electrical network,
sir, it contained
do you
very
have any
minimal
idea?
parts like magnetic field and electric field. That's it.
So in electrical network, a connection can be made either in series or parallel. Series means one after another. Series means like in a pipeline, you put valve 1, then after valve 1, valve 2, then after that valve 3. And when fluid is flowing from one point to another, say it will first pass through valve 1, then valve 2, then valve 3. So you may call it as all these valves are connected into series. But many a times, all valves will get same amount of flow. Valve 1, valve 2, valve 3. So if you make a connection of pipes in such a way that it is known as parallel connection. So in electrical network also, people connect the different electrical nodes in this fashion. So this is known as pumps in series and pumps in parallel. And a analogy is drawn from electrical network. But if I'm not conversant to electrical network, then we won't draw the electrical analogy. Then power transmission through a pipe. It is not electrical power transmission, but we can transmit fluid power through pipe. So we'll calculate it, the siphon, water hammer. Water hammer is very important for you people. And details of water hammer will be covered in your next in next semester in fluid mechanics 2. But we'll just give you an introduction of water hammer. It is a rare cases where water is also considered as a compressible flow. Then 3 reservoir problems you have with 3 reservoir at 3 location of different altitude, and your house is located. You consider one reservoir is located 1 kilometer away from your house, another water reservoir is located 2 kilometers, and third water reservoir is located from 2.5 kilometers, but in different direction and in different altitude. The objective is to get the water at your house so that minimum energy is lost in the process. So some optimization should be there, and we'll see this 3 problems are totally there. So some of the problems will be included in your tutorial and rest of the problems will be covered in your theory class. So I will make a synchronization with your tutorial team. Then number 5, the very important concept, and without this concept, the modern fluid mechanics, the learning of modern fluid mechanics cannot be started. That is known as hydrodynamic boundary layer. If a fluid is flowing through pipe, we understand that it appears that the layers of fluid will be same at every point, but it is not so. If you vividly see, or if you see with a magnification what happens with the fluid which is flowing very close to the solid surface of the pipe. So you will see the fluid which is very close to the solid surface is not moving at a faster rate, and as a result the fluid is slowing down, and this creates a layer near the solid boundary of the pipe which is known as boundary layer. And this boundary layer can be created on a curved plate, on a flat plate as well, to change the flow condition in the upstream. And this concept of boundary layer, that is the fluid flow near the solid surface, is different from the fluid flow away from the solid surface, was not known till the beginning of 20th century. In 1904, Ludwig Prandtl, a German fluid mechanist, he differentiated the types of flow at very near to the boundary layer and far from the boundary layer, far from the solid boundary. And he proposed a new sets of equation within the boundary layer that is very near to the solid boundary. So which is known as Prandtl boundary layer equation. We will derive it. Then for laminar flow and for turbulent flow, different types of boundary layer will be there. Their nature of equations would be a bit different. So we will see it. And boundary layer, the chances of boundary layer is to separate if some adverse condition occur. So this is known as flow separation or separation of boundary layer. And this separation of boundary layer you cannot just allow, because it will take a lot of energy from your flowing fluid. So you have to arrest it, control it. So how can you control the boundary layer separation? So a very interesting chapter. Then we discuss about some basics of aerodynamics. Aerodynamics is also a part of fluid mechanics when it deals with air, a drag and lift, and then drag calculated on a sphere, two-dimensional cylinder, aerofoil. You know what is aerofoil? Aerofoil is a cross section of aeroplane wing. You just see the transverse cross section of an aeroplane wing. So it is not looking like ellipse. It is something different from ellipse. So this is known as aerofoil. Then Magnus effect. when a cylinder, a sphere is rotating and fluid is flowing over it. So the cylinder or sphere will get an upward or sometimes downward force depending on the direction of fluid flow and direction of rotation. So this is known as Magnus effect. And there are a lot of application of Magnus effect, like drifting of a sports ball. Is an example of Magnus effect. So we will all discuss about it. So it will take around 8 to 10 hours of involvement. And then measurement techniques. As I told you, this measurement techniques is very important from your lab point of view. It is already one, but I think you will give me a couple of minutes time to wind up. So there are a lot of instruments to discuss, and many of the instruments we don't have. We have pitot tube, orifice, venturi, nozzle, bend meter, rotameter, notches, photoionometer. So whatever we have, we will try to show you, and some of the instrument we will use for experimentation. But we don't have costly equipment like LDV, PIV. We have some of the equipment like turbine flow meter, magnetic flow meter, Coriolis flow meter, probably ultrasonic flow meter, but we put it for use for postgraduate student. So I can arrange it for demonstration, but probably you will not be given it for conducting practicals. But for final year projects, if you are interested to work on it, you can. So a lot of books are available, and all books need not be collected by you, but books are available in our library as well as in market, and all books you need not be purchased. So ebooks are available for many of the books, like Fox and McDonald. So these books are wonderful books. The books are available as soft copy. You can arrange a soft copy from internet. I'll have a soft copy, so I will share it. Som Biswas and Chakravarti. This is another important book. So you may also get soft copy of this book. I'm not very sure, but if you want to buy one book from market, so probably this. Now I usually purchase book from Amazon or Flipkart. Purchasing book is very easy nowadays, and they are giving a heavy discount sometimes. So book by Som Biswas and Chakravarti. So that book is quite good. So serial number 3, that book you can purchase. And there are some other classical books like FM White, Sames, serial number 4, serial number 7, etc. So this is from my side. And this is a lecture plan. So we'll try to stick to the lecture plan and don't see these dates. I will remove the dates and send it to by second half. So let me stop the recording first. Yes, I have stopped the recording.